For the first time since 2016, FC Dallas has picked up a win against the Houston Dynamo in Houston. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Into the Net FC. My name is AlexAlKazzaz, and I'm also known as the Bear of Texas. And this is actually the very first time on this program in my life that I am covering an FC Dallas game. As a matter of fact, I am proud to announce that I am set to cover FC Dallas home games this season for the website that I work for. And I will certainly do my best to keep up with the coverage of the season on this program. I figured if I'm to write about it weekly, as far as I'm concerned, I might as well do my best to talk about it here on this program. But I want to take this challenge to a whole new level. I don't just want to talk about FC Dallas. I want to talk about the MLS overall. So obviously I want to incorporate my other team, LAFC, and of course the big story in the season, of course, is San Diego FC. The MLS has certainly expanded, and I think the challenge is I really need to talk about the MLS a little bit more. So ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me. I promise that I will do my best, but I am pleased to announce that I will in fact be covering FC Dallas with my sports writing gig. Really excited for it. Right now, I am set to cover the game, the first home game against the Chicago Fire on the 8th of next month. I'll keep everybody posted. Well, FC Dallas on the road against Houston, a 2-1 hard-fought come-from-behind win. FC Dallas last year unfortunately missed the playoffs. FC Dallas is really looking to avenge that particular hurtful failure. FC Dallas really is a team right now with some very respectable talent. Against the Houston Dynamo in the opening game, 6 players actually made their debut for FC Dallas. As a matter of fact, this FC Dallas team looks very exciting. Now, I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit right now, but because it's only one game, but I got to tell you, FC Dallas looks so exciting. Well, I don't exactly know where to start. Okay. Because I'm still studying the players. I'm still kind of studying. I mean, again, the MLS has just never been my thing. Although I've been in love with LAFC since 2019 when I went to an LAFC game with my good friend and my mentor, Mr. Steve Adams, when I was visiting him in Los Angeles back in 2019. And I went to an LAFC game, and that's where I fell in love with LAFC. Don't get me wrong. I've always loved FC Dallas, but even though I'm a neutral football fan, the 2 MLS teams that I that are really close to my heart are, of course, the team of my hometown, Dallas, Texas, and LAFC. I feel like San Diego FC might be getting close to my heart this season, but I'll let y'all know. As a matter of fact, I think as I'm recording right now, San Diego FC is currently playing the LA Galaxy. Yes, they are. And as we are talking right now, the score is 0-0. You know what? Maybe there'll be an episode on this one. I don't know. About San Diego FC. We'll see. So, believe it or not, FC Dallas was not the one who scored first in this one. Amin Bazi scored for the Houston Dynamo in the 18th minute. And it was a beautiful goal. Now, FC Dallas conceding first, well, is a bit of a stressful situation, but it's honestly nothing to worry about. FC Dallas eventually did equalize, but not until the 55th minute. And when Peter Musa equalized for FC Dallas, well, it was off of a major, and I mean a major blunder by Houston. Because the Houston defender failed to make a proper pass. Peter Musa, at the perfect place, at the perfect time to intercept that pass. The goalie had no chance. Peter Musa easily equalized for FC Dallas. Well, it's very unfortunate that both goals scored by Dallas was off of major blunders by Houston. Well, the second goal by Anderson Julio, the second goal scored by Anderson Julio, well, that was a serious blunder from the goalie, but some would say certainly by Houston overall. Well, when Anderson Julio scored, the goalie decided to basically make a run for it and unfortunately could not make the stop. Anderson Julio was basically off to the races. Did have one defender at least behind him, but Anderson Julio made it 2-1 because there was no goalie there to make the stop. So the goalie truly made a horrible decision. And the defenders, well, honestly, based on how the play went, it seems to me that the defenders of the Houston Dynamo that were covering Anderson Julio unfortunately did not have a chance, and, well, another advantage taken thanks to a very disastrous blunder. So, well, we see a little bit of resilience from FC Dallas, obviously, because it was a hard-fought, come-from-behind win. Now, there was actually a time where Houston was so close to actually regaining the lead when a certain player, a 21-year-old by the name of Jack McGlynn, made a beautiful shot that hit the crossbar. The FC Dallas goalie had no shot on that one. So FC Dallas and the goalie was certainly fortunate that that shot hit the crossbar and the ball basically spilled still in the open. So Houston Dynamo was able to quickly get the ball back and have another chance at scoring, but FC Dallas made the proper clearance. As I'm looking at this wonderful FC Dallas lineup, obviously Peter Musa is a player that I'm going to have to keep my eye out on. Also, Julio. Julio was actually acquired last December by FC Dallas from Real Salt Lake. I believe also a player that was actually acquired, another player by the name of Shaq Moore, was of course a defender who actually played this game, so was in the starting lineup. Peter Musa was actually the sole striker for this one. FC Dallas went with 4 defenders, 2 midfielders, 3 forwards, and a lone striker. Now, for those of you listening, you probably noticed that I'm kind of doing this recap the same way I do my recaps with the other games when I'm covering the Premier League, the Champions League, when I'm covering European football and the World Cup. I figure I might as well do it the same way. Now, unfortunately, as far as statistics go, well, I try to look on goal.com, and unless I'm dreaming, goal.com didn't really provide me the same amount of stats as they would with European games. But nonetheless, this game was hard fought. I mean, Houston really did their best. Houston was just a little bit unfortunate. Well, I don't know if I should say a little bit unfortunate because, again, FC Dallas' 2 goals was off of major blunders. So it's very, very frustrating for the Houston Dynamo. Now, another player that I have my eye on is, well, he came in this game as a substitute, a player by the name of Pedrinho, a 21-year-old Brazilian. I'm not sure exactly who he replaced. I'm not sure exactly who he replaced. Now, 4 substitutes came in the game. Both teams made 4 substitutions. Again, I'm actually still I'm still working on studying the depth chart of FC Dallas, but from the looks of it, FC Dallas really has an impressive depth chart with some very, very respectable talent. I'm really hoping FC Dallas can actually have a great season and maybe make a deep run in the playoffs, but we'll see. That's 1 game so far. So we got to see if Dallas can continue to build the momentum. Now, Dallas' first home game is not until March 8th, and as I said earlier, I should be at that game. We'll see how things go. They'll play their first home game against the Chicago Fire at Toyota Stadium in Frisco. Now, as far as I'm concerned, well, FC Dallas getting the win, well, it's a good start. It's certainly a good start, but there's still much to see and still much to accomplish. Now, from the statistics, both teams had 3 shots on target. And clearly, FC Dallas did a better job at converting those chances, and Houston Dynamo obviously not so much. So that would mean that the FC Dallas goalie made 2 saves. Now, FC Dallas had 3 corners while Houston had 5. Now, a total of 4 yellow cards for FC Dallas and just 1 for Houston. But this game had a total of 24 fouls, and actually Houston had more fouls. And Houston actually had more ball possession than FC Dallas. So in the end of the day, Houston was not really able to kind of get much going. Now, they had a couple of chances, but of course, we know one of them hit that crossbar. So I think that might have been actually one of them, although I'm not exactly sure if that's considered a shot on target, because I know that the FC Dallas goalie made 2 saves that were easy. So those must have been those 2 saves that I was talking about. That shot that hit the crossbar, I'm not entirely sure if I would consider that to be, if I would consider that to be a shot on goal. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is a losing effort, unfortunately, for Houston. Well, I don't know if I should say unfortunately. The unfortunate part is that Houston didn't get the win. But in Houston's case, I can honestly say that this was indeed a losing effort. Now, take a look at the MLS standings. Of course, there's still games being played right now. As I said, the LA Galaxy and the San Diego FC are currently playing. Now, looking at the Western Conference, San Jose is on top. Now, FC Dallas is in 3rd, and LAFC is right under them. LAFC, of course, had that 1-0 win over Minnesota United. I did talk about that game briefly with my good friend and my mentor, Mr. Steve Adams, and kind of considered it to be a boring game. So FC Dallas sits in third. And then Austin FC sits in fifth, and Seattle's in sixth. So there's several teams so far with a draw. So far, Seattle in sixth place is a team with a draw, along with the Colorado Rapids and St. Louis. The Dynamo, the Minnesota United, Sporting KC, Portland, and Real Salt Lake are winless to start the season. Real Salt Lake sits at the bottom of the Western Conference with a -4 goal differential. Now, the Galaxy and San Diego FC are currently tied scoreless as I'm recording right now, but that could change any minute. Or any second, rather. Now, the Eastern Conference, Columbus is on top, Philadelphia is in second, and Atlanta is also in third, and Cincinnati's in fourth. So those are the winning teams so far in the Eastern Conference. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the Chicago Fire is at the very bottom with a -2 goal differential alongside Orlando City. New York Red Bulls are in 13th place. New England and Nashville are at a draw. As a matter of fact, my good buddy, the YouTube personality known as Uncle Mad, who actually spends a lot of time on his channel actually covering Nashville SC, I'm pretty sure he'll actually be excited for me to talk about FC Dallas. I figured he's always covering his hometown club of Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville SC, so figured me covering FC Dallas is certainly exciting for my good buddy, Mr. Uncle Mad. So, of course, when FC Dallas plays Nashville, or when LAFC or FC Dallas plays Nashville, that's certainly me versus my buddy Uncle Mad. Now, Nashville FC and New England, again, ended in a draw, which was actually a scoreless draw. And, of course, Uncle Mad was at that game. As a matter of fact, I haven't watched this video yet, so I need to do that, as soon as I'm done editing all the episodes that I worked on today. As a matter of fact, I released my first article for FC Dallas. So, it's actually, since my channel, my Into the Net FC channel, new channel is still brand new, I can't really post links yet because, I don't know, it's the stuff building the channel. So, I will actually post a link to my article in the comments. So, now on the episode, now in the description for Spotify and Apple Podcasts, it will certainly be in the episode description. But as far as YouTube goes, the link to the episode will be in the comments because I can't put the link in the description yet, and I really don't honestly know why. So, again, my first time covering an FC Dallas game. It's actually my second time covering an MLS game because the only MLS game I've ever covered was when LAFC won the MLS championship back in 2022. So I hope that for my first episode covering FC Dallas, I hope I'm doing okay. This is obviously not the same as covering European football, let me tell you. But honestly, some would say that covering European football is basically a bigger challenge and should be more difficult than this. When they say that covering FC Dallas should not be a difficult task, that usually tells me that there's no challenge, which makes it not fun. But FC Dallas is off to a good start. They're in third place. That could honestly change any minute now. We're seeing if any of those two. Right now, from the looks of it, if things stand the way they do, the LA Galaxy would be in 7th and San Diego FC would be in 8th. So FC Dallas probably wouldn't be in a position to move. It would honestly depend on the goal differential. So as I'm sitting right now, FC Dallas is in 3rd, but even when this episode comes out, the position could change. So keep that in mind. Times are always making changes. It's something always happens. And of course, since I'm on a schedule, it's not like I can just sit and wait for the result of that particular game because the FC Dallas game was, well over 24 hours ago. So, I want to take a quick look at the FC Dallas games before I let everybody go, since I kind of took a look at the standings. Well, you know what? Here's a couple of things. Number one, Peter Musa actually has 3 goals in 4 games for the Houston Dynamo, if I'm correct. And Anderson Julio scored his first goal for FC Dallas in his first appearance for FC Dallas. And as a matter of fact, Peter Musa, I believe, provided the assist in Anderson Julio's game-winning goal. So resiliency and teamwork and consistency played the roles in helping FC Dallas win. So, and I did see that, according to an email that I got, because considering that I'm supposed to be covering the home games, I got a couple of notes from this one. Peter Musa has scored 3 goals against Houston. So, and Peter Musa, again, along with Anderson Julio, those are 2 players that I've got my eye out on as far as this season's concerned. Obviously, Shaq Moore is another one, and of course, Pedrinho as well. Again, I'm going to do my best to keep an eye out on this team because I'm still studying them. I'm still trying to get in the hang of covering the MLS because, again, the MLS has just not really been part of not really been part of my career because I've been covering European football and, of course, the World Cup, the Euros, and everything else. But, I'm glad that I accepted this challenge. So, again, please bear with me. But anyway, for those of you that are listening, if you watched the FC Dallas and Houston Dynamo game, if you're an MLS fan, if you're an FC Dallas fan, well, I'd like to know your thoughts. So if you're listening on Spotify on your cell phone, leave your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, as far as Apple Podcasts go, I'm not actually sure if you can actually leave comments. But if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, if you would please be so kind to please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way, I know that you will not miss out on any exciting upcoming content, whether it's Champions League, Premier League, European football, MLS, the World Cup, yada, yada, yada. I want to be sure that you're not going to miss out on any exciting upcoming content because if you love association football, Into the Net FC is the show for you. Also, again, it's available on YouTube. So, if you're watching on YouTube, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comment. And of course, most of all, if you're listening on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts, a 5-star review would certainly be appreciated. Now, before I let you go, I do have a very, very important announcement to make. The Bear of Texas podcast has pledged to donate future portions of revenue to the Wounded Warrior Project, the Paralyzed Veterans of America organization, the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, as well as the American Cancer Society. And not only that, the Bear of Texas podcast will also donate to the Stop Soldier Suicide Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all very, very much. Y'all have a good one, and God bless.